TNA 2.0 announced. Insider Connected adds home team. Roger Sharp movie to premiere.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Houston. I'm the editor of Pinball magazine, and I'm joined with...
I'm Martin Ebb, and I'm the editor of Pinball News, and we are here to look back on all the events in the pinball world that took place, or the important ones anyway, that took place during the month of August 2022, which we've just had.
Right.
And it was an interesting month. It was not exactly the way that we expected it, because we were planning on there being a new game release from Stern, but I don't think that hasn't happened as of yet, and we're recording this PINcast on the very last day of August in preparation for releasing it on the 1st of September, so I don't think we're going to get any news about that today.
Right.
But even so, it's been a busy month, and there has been a new game release.
Right. Yeah. Although it is an old game in a new version.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, it was our lead headline, and it's Spooky Pinball, and they have announced a new version of the Total Nuclear Annihilation game, and it's version 2.0, as everything seems to be these days. But there are differences between this and the previous version. And, well, first of all, it comes with all the sort of extra add-ons which were available to purchase separately previously when the game was first run. And it's also limited to only 250 units.
Right. So, just to clarify, I don't think Spooky is referring to the game as TNA 2.0.
Oh, they did actually in the documentation. Yeah, I have it here. So, in the questions and answers, it says, what makes this game different from the first TNA? And it says, TNA 2.0 will feature.
Right, okay.
And it goes on. So, there you go. I didn't think that either until I checked it.
Right, okay. So, excuse me for barking in.
No, please do. Because you know more about this game than I do, because you have one.
Yeah, well, actually,
one of the first run.
I have one of the first run, and there's been quite a demand for the game. I can only speak for Europe, I would say. I imported a few myself back in the day. Those are all gone. I have multiple people asking whether I want to sell my game, and interestingly, the offer for my home use only game is even higher than what Spook is currently charging for the game, which is $8,995 US, and that's not including any sales tax, if applicable.
Shipping.
Yeah, or shipping if available. But like you said, the game in the new. The way they are planning to rerun it has a few changes versus the first run, so to speak. And let's not forget that at that time, Total Nuclear Annihilation was Spooky's most successful game ever. With production at that time, I think, of 550.
Sounds familiar.
And of course, that was later topped by Rick and Morty and then Halloween. And the additional 250 units are not going to make it Spooky's best-selling game ever, but they do not exclude, or they're not saying that they won't rerun it again. So, for some people, the new pricing point is rather steep. I believe that the original price for the first run of Total Nuclear Annihilation was $5,995 US dollars, so that's $3,000 added. And for those $3,000, you get a nuclear green plastic protector set on the game, which gives the plastics an extra color, and they sort of light up due to the LEDs below it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's a knocker, a shaker motor, custom laser cut side rails, which, and I'm trying to look at the image. Well, there's still on the flyer. It shows the game name Total Nuclear Annihilation being laser cut, similar to the original one. But there is an alternative laser cut side rail. Yeah. So, custom metallic powder coat, which is also like similar to the original interior graphics. I don't think those were part of the original game.
No, I think so.
Speaker kit and grills. I think there was an upgrade at the time, and illuminated or light up drop targets, which was not part of. It's more like an aftermarket mod that was. That came later on. It's basically the same drop targets, but transparent with an LED behind them. So,
right. So all that's included in this new 2.0 version at the new higher price. Now, sales for this game open at 10 a.m. on September the 1st, which is, as I said earlier, that's tomorrow, given the day we're recording this Pincast. But you can't just go and buy it from your distributor. You do have to be a member of the Spooky Supporters Fan Club.
Right.
For which there is a subscription, I believe.
Yes. Not sure if the number is correct. I think it's $45 a year. But I could be off. I think it was $45 for last year. And that also gets you the news of any new games or reruns as one of the first, because I don't think Spooky actually announced the game on their website or social media. It was only announced to fan club members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yes. So I think you also get some kind of swag as well with it, like
there's this
can cooler or some other items.
Yeah, there was this special Spooky Pinball shaped beer glass. That you get this time, if you will, for this year, they did the special beer glass, which you can see on Spooky Pinball's social media. I think they showed pictures of what it looks like, so people know what to expect.
Okay, well, with only 250 units, they'll probably sell out straight away, no matter how much they are charging for it. But it'll probably sell out very quickly. So if you are very keen to get one of these 2.0 versions of TNA, then you, as I said, need to be a member of their fan club. You need to make sure your payment details, your credit card information, is up to date on your account, and you need to go to shop.spookypinball.com tomorrow, or today probably, as you're listening to this, by 10 a.m. Central Time, which is when sales will open up.
Right. So, and
you will be required, I should mention, to put down an initial payment of $2,000, which is non-refundable, and you can't transfer it to another game either. So I think you need to be committed to buying it if you're going to hit that buy button.
Yeah, which makes me wonder what we've seen, obviously, with the Halloween and Ultraman. When those games were announced, they sold out also immediately. And then lots of people offered their spots, trying to sell their basically their place.
Yes. I don't think there's any way they can stop you selling your place to somebody else. They can make it difficult, of course. They can require you to take delivery of it first and then transfer it to the eventual buyer.
Right.
But it doesn't say the deposit can't be transferred to another person, just says it can't be transferred to another game. So they really just want to make sure they're going to sell 250 and make them and move on to the game after, fairly quickly, I'd have thought.
Yeah, so, but what I understand is they still expect to run the game for like 6 months or so. Not actually sure whether that math makes sense, because there was the very first Saturday morning Spooktacular Facebook Live Q&A with Bug and Spooky Luke. That was, I think, last week, in which they announced that, or mentioned that they are currently continuously building 40 games a week. Now, with 40 games a week, that seems like a production run of 6 weeks, and then they're done with TNA. So,
yep. But as you said, they haven't ruled out making another run of games either. It says we've only have time to do a small run of 250. So presumably there's another game lined up after that, or a rerun maybe. I don't know. But and they say, but there was always the possibility of making more.
Right.
So don't treat it as a limited edition run. I think that's the story here.
Yeah, so one thing I didn't mention yet about Total Nuclear Annihilation is that the side rails on the rerun will have a black trim instead of a chromed look on the first run of the game. So
Okay.
it looks darker, I suppose.
Okay. Well, continuing what you were saying just now, as part of that Facebook Live Spooktacular, they, apart from saying they're building about 40 games a week, also said that the Halloween and Ultraman run should be completed by the end of this year. So where the TNA 2.0 fits into that plan isn't clear, whether it's going to be at the end of that and then we'll start building it at the beginning of next year, or whether there's a gap in production for Halloween and Ultraman where they can slot in these 250 games at 40 games a week.
Right. So yeah, and well, there's more news from Spooky Pinball. They announced on their social media that they are very excited that both Ben Heck and Eric Priebke will be joining forces with Spooky Pinball again to program future games. And obviously both already worked for and with the company on previous games. Ben Heck is the designer of America's Most Haunted, the very first game by Spooky Pinball. And Eric Priebke, I think, was a programmer for Rick and Morty. Most of the code is by him. And I think he briefly left and is now coming back. So good things for Spooky and Ben Heck and Eric Priebke, I suppose.
Yeah. And talking of Rick and Morty, there's a new video now available of the making of Rick and Morty. Part 1 is now available on YouTube, and I guess that will be on the Spooky Pinball channel on YouTube.
And else just Google Rick and Morty Pinball making of, and you'll probably find it easily. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And more Rick and Morty news, because there have been 2 code updates this month, and we know how excited Jonathan gets by the prospect of new code.
Yeah, where's my pillow?
Okay. Well, so the first one came out on the 2nd of August, and actually added quite a lot, with lots of new features to and new dimensions, which some of which are positive and negative, and feature dimensions. So it includes some very weird and interesting ideas in there, including one in which just produces a bunch of cursing, one in which is unlimited ball saves, one which fires the knocker, and a lot more. I'll let you read about that if you're interested on the Spooky Pinball site. And who knows, Jonathan may even include some of the details in the monthly newsletter that he produces.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Don't hold your
or at least a
breath.
link to the way if you can find out more.
Yeah.
And the more recent one, which is on the 18th of August, adds a new sort of fun feature called Morty's Mind-Blowing Single Adventure Challenge, which allows you to just play one ball, one adventure in a single dimension, as they say, for funsies. So that's a nice little feature they added in, and a little change to the tournament settings that allows it to randomize dimensions and adventures in order the order in which they occur, if you want to, in a tournament setting, rather than always getting the same ones. But that's the code update news from Spooky Pinball.
Right, now sticking with code update, let's move on to Stern Pinball right away, because they dropped 18 code updates the first week of August. And Martin's now going to tell us what's in it.
Well, kind of. Yes, I mean, the key thing that they added to all these games, and these are the games which are all supported under the Insider Connected program for where you scan your QR code, is they added the new Home Team feature, which allows you to log in and play without having to scan your QR code. Now, that's one of the things which is always a bit of a bugbear, that people scrambling around trying to find their QR code photo. And although I have to give credit to Stern again here, apart from adding the home feature thing, they've also allowed the QR code for your Insider Connected login to be added to your Google Wallet and your Apple Wallet. So you can, it effectively acts like a loyalty card where you just open that app and scroll down to the Stone Pinball thing and just press it, and it shows the QR code on your phone, and you just instantly get it. So no having to hunt through saved photos or having to put a shortcut on your homepage or anything like that. But this home team feature, it allows you to add up to 8 players into your system, which then you can select from when you start a game, and you don't have to get your phone out and find the code. You just pick who's playing it from the list, and it automatically selects them and gets all their details from the Insider Connected service. And it can also also works across all the games in a single home. So you can say that if you've got 4 or 5 different Stern LCD games, you can add them all to your home team group, and the same players will instantly be available on every machine, which is great for family get-togethers, and you can also add guests temporarily as well to the home team if you've got a party or just friends coming around and you don't want to have to register them or have them to get their code out from their phone in order to log in. Yeah. So nice little feature there. But one of the things that did immediately strike me was, is this something you're going to have to do every time they add something to the Insider Connected feature? Are they going to have to release new code for every single game that's been released? So every single LCD game on which Insider Connected works, because it would seem that they kind of need to have a means of just updating the Insider Connected, because that's the bit that's getting all the love and attention right now and getting all the extra features added to it. It's almost like you just need to download an Insider Connected update, which is universal for every game. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's something which is going to be coming. But then I looked at all the code updates, and, well, not all of them, but nearly all of them, but they all seem to add extra things as well, bug fixes and a few little features, and bringing everything up to the same kind of standard now, adding the DJ functionality to games that didn't have it before, mm-hmm. and standardizing the settings across all the games. So it's more than just the home team that's been added to most of the games. Right. But you can imagine that, because they keep saying they're going to keep adding all these new features to Insider Connected, but you wouldn't want to have to to release 18, 19, 20 as they release more and more of their games, code updates every time they add a new feature. So maybe there's a sort of a dedicated Insider Connected update system that needs to be added.
Yeah, so, and that's not even all, because following these 18 updates, there was also a milestone achievement added to the Insider Connected, where it basically keeps track of the number of games played, the number of days in a row streaks. And I sort of get the feeling that your pinball is close to becoming a sort of Tamagotchi type of thing, where it's basically calling your cell phone, telling you, I need to be played.
Yeah, it's going to be like Pokemon Go, where you have to collect every single different achievement in order to win some kind of a prize or be able to brag about your achievement so far. Or maybe you get an achievement for getting all the achievements.
Yeah, or if you play me now, I'll give you this unique achievement, and
it's a limited time. You've got to play it in 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was interesting though that wasn't an update for every single game. It seems to be a sort of a back end feature which is on their server. So it doesn't. I don't think it appears on the actual game itself. I think it only appears when you log into your user profile on the website, and then you can see these milestone achievements. So, as we were saying before, it's not something you need to update the game for. It will automatically appear on your profile.
Right. So, now, interestingly, several older games are in production right now, being Mandalorian, Godzilla, and Star Wars being the oldest one from those three. Those were on the line the past month. And it looks like we're looking at the last run of Led Zeppelin, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Guardians of the Galaxy, as they have been announced to distributors to put in their final order, so to speak, so they can build the number of games that are being ordered, and that's it.
Yeah, surprising for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's a relatively recent title. Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously much older. It came out of the license for that. Could be running out.
And it's also surprising to see that they are still trying to make more Led Zeppelin games because, there's probably people that like the game, but generally the game is not that well received.
No, I wouldn't have thought you'd have a problem getting one if you wanted one, but apparently there's still demand out there for it. So it's good news there. But unless they're just using up parts they have left over.
Right. So I just mentioned Godzilla. We mentioned last month that Stern will be holding their Heads Up Invitational tournament. Usually I'm not that much into tournaments, and this was a very odd one, I would say. I do applaud the production team for what they tried to achieve, because it looked like a sort of ESPN type of report on various challenges that needed to be done between two players. But overall, and that's just me, and don't see this as criticism, but it kind of looked like an infomercial for Godzilla to me. And I don't think the game needed that. It's already popular as it is. And it's sort of, I don't know. Then I clicked the link to see, and I was under the impression that this would be a live tournament, but all I got was an edited highlights basically of what happens, which
presumably it already happened then. By the time you were clicking the link, it was over.
Yeah, okay, but so I'm not sure whether they actually broadcasted the entire tournament, or that the highlights was just, that's when the video went live and that was it. So I'm not exactly sure. So
yeah, I'm like you. I'm not that interested. If it was a live tournament, I'd be more likely to watch it. But if it's an invitational, then without knowing how people got invited or why, and whether it was open to the public, it holds a lot less interest to me. I want it to be an open event where anybody could be invited to take part, not handpicked. I'm not talking down the competitors, because I'm sure they were all very well qualified for the criteria that Stern used to pick the players. But we like anybody to be with a chance of having a great game and winning a Godzilla machine, which is what the prize was. Yeah.
So still, I find it rather odd that with only 8 competitors, you hand out a pinball machine. I mean, that's almost like a participation trophy. I mean, it's not like we have a quiz every year, and where we knock on Stern's door. It's not like we ever got a pinball machine to give away. I mean, we have more participants in our quiz than in this Heads Up Invitational.
Yeah, the whole series of them. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then there's usually we don't discuss rumors, but there is a rumor going around, actually, in crowd only, I suppose. But there is a rumor that Stern will have to relocate their factory. They have been told by their landlord that their lease is, once their lease is up, they're not getting an extension. I think that's what you call it.
Yeah, all renewed. Yes.
Yes,
right.
And so they have apparently been looking for a new location, and the rumor has it that they might be going back to Melrose Park.
Yeah, which is of course the home where Data East was first set up.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they're going back to the same building, but
no, I don't think they'll be able to.
Yeah, so but back to that area, so to speak. But nothing has officially been announced so far, and could still be months away before Stern announces anything on that. So, but it looks like it will be the end of Jersey Jack Pinball and Stern Pinball almost being neighbors.
Yeah, I don't suppose Jersey Jack Pinball are going to have to move, because I think that particular street's been redeveloped fairly recently. Right. But I know that that there has been a lot of building work around the Eastern Pinball factory either side. So and on the opposite side of the street, it was all demolished and these huge, great warehouses built. So, which I think is part of a plan to, I think we mentioned this before, to turn it into a sort of a high-tech farm there with lots of server farms being put in and tech companies moving in. So, which is it's the right of the city to zone it however they want, and I'm sure the move from Melrose, or if they go back to Melrose Park, the move from Elk Grove Village to potentially Melrose Park will be well managed. And although it always causes a little bit of disruption to production, gives them a chance to make a few changes to the production facility and optimise a few things. So it'd be interesting to see what they come up with in their new home, if they do indeed have to move.
Right. I do remember that when they moved from Melrose Park to Elk Grove Village, that for the outside world that looked like a very smooth operation, and I think it took less than a week before they were up and running again.
Yeah, they were actually producing stuff before they even announced that they transferred. So although people in the business knew about it, there was no public announcement that they were up and running in their new place and producing games.
Right. So. All right. Now, since we already mentioned Jersey Jack Pinball, let's jump to them straight away.
Not a huge amount of news from them.
No, true. They are currently building and shipping the collector's edition of Toy Story 4.
Yep. Okay. So when it was first announced, there was no indication exactly when they would be making those games, but the answer to that is now, apparently.
Yeah. So and. The first week of August marked the 10-year anniversary for now pinball designer, but then I think electrical engineer Eric Meunier for being 10 years with the company.
Congratulations to Eric.
Right, and the same week also marked the 1-year anniversary for Steve Ritchie to join the company.
Congratulations to Steve.
Yeah, and Jersey Jack himself went to the factory as well. Jack is usually located in New Jersey, but he flew over to Elk Grove Village, where he did an interview for WGN TV, where he's basically talking about creating jobs in the area and so on. How many parts there are in a pinball machine, and the kind of usual stuff that apparently reporters think entertains people watching such a documentary or news item. Yeah. And that's available on YouTube as of recently. So
this is for WGN TV.
Yes.
Okay. So if you search for that, but of course, don't forget that last month we spoke to Jack on this PINcast, so you can find out more if you didn't catch that one about what's been happening in the factory, and quite a bit of inside information and potentially a little reveal or two as well. So go and have a listen to last month's PINcast.
Now, one of the things that Jack mentioned in his interview last month is somewhat interesting. As I think he mentioned that he went to see Billy Joel in Madison Square Garden.
That's right, in concert, not just a social event.
Yeah, exactly. And he was basically sitting sort of backstage, basically, literally. Behind the stage, where you could basically touch Billy Joel if he wanted to. So, while we usually don't address rumors, there's two going around for Jersey Jack, which might be wishful thinking or people just speculating. But apparently, one of the rumors is that Steve Ritchie's first game for the company will be themed around Billy Joel. which could be true or it could not be true. Of
Well,
course,
yes, definitely going to be one of those.
it's definitely an interesting theme, but I think even Jack mentions that there's a list of criteria that a theme has to tick
Yes.
before even being considered, and I'm not sure whether Billy Joel ticks all the boxes.
No, well, we were speculating last month with Jack that maybe Bruce Springsteen would have been a better fit for,
Right,
for Jersey Jack Pinball.
Or Bon Jovi could also be a very good one, because I think Bon Jovi is also New Jersey based. But oh well.
Okay, well,
And
that's just a rumor. But
right.
there was also another rumor, which we obviously don't cover, but we will just this once, about another potential license for Jersey Jack Pinball, which would actually be more fitting, I suppose, for a Steve Ritchie game.
Right, yeah, and that would be the Top Gun license. We have no verification whether this rumor is true or not, but of course the Top Gun Maverick movie broke all records this year. I think it's one of the most successful movies ever now. I just had the pleasure of watching the original Top Gun DVD recently, which is also still quite an interesting film, although I'm not sure whether it's exactly pinball material, so to speak, with. But then again, Steve Ritchie already designed F-14 Tomcat, which was sort of like a reference to the Top Gun franchise, which it is now.
And don't forget there was Airborne as well, which was based more around an air show.
Right.
But certainly flying planes and buzzing towers and things like that. So it's there's a couple of games out there, but it would make sense if Steve was going to do an updated version of F-14 to pick up the Top Gun license for real this time, rather than try and just hint at it.
Right. So those are rumors going around, but it could just be wishful thinking from some people, hoping that those games would be manufactured. So,
okay.
Not that far from Jersey Jack Pinball is American Pinball.
Yes, indeed. Not a lot of news, but tell us what we have.
Well, there's they made an announcement, and I don't think it was American Pinball who did it, but actually it was done by Titan Pinball, that American Pinball will use Titan flipper rubbers on their games from now on. And that's even indicated with the little sticker at the top left of the playfield glass.
Okay.
So
there's presumably not rubber, but...
the sticker is not rubber, no.
Good. Well, that's reassuring. Good.
Yeah. Flipper. The rubbers in pinball machines are both on the flippers, of course, and in certain areas to prevent the ball going from places where it shouldn't go. If it's not blocked off by targets, but it's also used on posts and
slingshots.
Slingshots, exactly, that kind of stuff. And there's various qualities out there of rubbers, and American Pinball are very happy with the Titan flipper rubbers, and they're the first company to switch to Titan.
Is it just flipper rubbers that they're using, or are they using Titan rubbers all around the game?
I assume it's Titan rubbers all around.
Right, that makes sense. Well, that's a good deal for any American pinball buyers, because they're, in my experience, they're very, very well made and very durable.
Yeah. So the only thing nice that now I have a question for you. This might have to do with English language or American, whatever you want to call it. But so the announcement by Titan said that American Pinball will use Titan rubbers exclusively. Does that mean that Titan rubbers are no longer available for any other manufacturers? Because it would no longer be exclusive for American Pinball.
No, I think it just means that they will only use Titan products on the American Pinball games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, because it could be that...
You're right. It could read either way, depending on how exactly it was written. But I'm sure that Titan won't want to give up their home use sales as well.
Right. So, okay. Now we've talked about a rerun of Houdini already for a couple of months now. Apparently, that has been pushed back, and instead the company is now building Oktoberfest. Just in time for October, I suppose.
Well, yeah, just about, yeah. It makes sense. Obviously, Oktoberfest runs mostly through, the actual event itself, runs mostly through September and only slightly into October.
Right.
But if they're building them now, then they should be available for Oktoberfest celebrations. So makes sense to do it that way. And remember, these games were going to be using the new style cabinets and new hardware that they're currently using in games like Hot Wheels. So they will get that kind of upgrade to the more standardized design, which should make getting parts and maintenance a bit easier.
Right. Okay. So, and there was some more news that involves. It seems to involve American Pinball. Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure what their involvement is, but it was announced from Pinball Expo on their social media feed saying that they will be showing and allowing to have played a completed Magic Girl game, which is from the Dutch team who are based in Wormer, who have finished the code and made physical changes to the game in order to make it playable and feature complete. It said that it was thanks to American Pinball that game is going to be at Pinball Expo, but it's not entirely clear what American Pinball's role or involvement in this is, whether they will be supplying the machine or whether it will be Rob Burke's personal machine, which I believe has been sent over to.
I think Rob Burke already sold his game, so he was looking for a new one.
And, right, so maybe he's bought one of their games.
Yeah. So that probably is it. I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that he's. I was at Warmer when Rob was. No, that was the day after. But he mentioned that he already had sold his Magic Girl game. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Rob's original Magic Girl game ended up in Warmer to begin with. So
yes, I think that could be right. But then once he'd seen what they'd done, he may well have decided to buy one back.
Right. So so that game will be at Pinball Expo, the upcoming October. That is October 19th to the 22nd in Schaumburg, Illinois.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So if you wanted to get a chance to play a completed feature a Magic Girl, then that's probably your best chance of doing it without going to the Netherlands, where there is one on display at the Dutch Pinball Museum in Rotterdam,
right, for
public to play. And I think there are a few others now cropping up around the world, but mostly in private, entirely in private collections, I think.
Yeah, so and I did reach out to Max, who is the owner of the facility where the Magic Girls are being finished, so to speak. He is looking to attend Pinball Expo as well, so I would not be surprised if there would be a seminar about the finishing of Magic Girl
yes, indeed. I think that's already been announced that they will be telling the story.
Right.
Of how they did it, but
if you can't wait for that,
yeah. Well, you and I have both been involved in the telling of that story to some degree. Jonathan, as you may remember us talking about on this PINcast a while ago, was asked to voice and narrate the story of the making of Magic Girl video, which is available on YouTube. So I'm sure if you search for that, you will find it there. Meanwhile, I've also been busy because I wrote up the story of that for Pinball News, and after everybody was able to get together and check it out and confirm that all the facts in it were correct, it was published about a week ago on the Pinball News website. So you can read the long story of Magic Girl, how it came to be, and how it came to be finished on the Pinball News site.
Right. So I think that rounds it up for American Pinball.
Yes, you may be wondering why we're talking about Magic Girl for an American Pinball section.
Well, let's not forget that American Pinball assembled all the Magic Girl games that are currently out there.
Absolutely, yes. Because John Poppaduke was working for them or working with them, I should say, to build those games, build a number of those games, and also design their launch title, the Houdini game, which ended up being redesigned, of course, by Joe Balser. But those games which we're talking about, those were the ones which were built in the old American Pinball factory before they actually got into building their own game, Houdini. Right. So that's American Pinball involvement.
Right. So, okay. Moving on to, I suppose, Deep Root Pinball. Do you have some news on them?
Not really. Obviously, their insolvency rolls on, the bankruptcy. There are more and more legal motions and attempts to recover whatever they can through the selling of their assets. But there are some pictures which came up on Pinside, so thank you to those who posted on Pinside, which revealed that there was apparently another title which hadn't been announced. They'd already announced plenty of titles in their planned raft of machine releases, but one which they had worked on, they had artwork for, and potentially a playfield design, which is a bit hard to tell from the pictures, but quite possibly, was a Men in Black Alien Crisis game. So, there is a backglass of some rough cabinet art drawn up as well, and it's interesting that they would obviously put in some effort into building that, or at least designing it, while they were still trying to get their launch title, Razor, out. But it wasn't amongst the titles that they had announced, so whether they had the license for it yet or not, or whether it was a speculative thing they were going to present to the movie company and try and get the license, we don't know. But I'm sure the full story of how that came about will come out in due course.
Right. Okay. You want to jump to what's it called? Turner Pinball.
Oh right, yes.
Which is sort of like the.
Chris Turner is very keen to say he's not Deep Root Pinball 2.0, despite the obvious links to Deep Root. But so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and have a clean slate from which to start. But the only news I think from Turner Pinball is there was a new video on. I want to say it's on the Turner Pinball site, but it's not. It's on Chris Turner's personal YouTube channel called christurner.tv, which is on YouTube. And there are currently 3 videos on there. The rather awkward reveal of the company, which we referred to before. There is a new top 5 questions about Turner Pinball answered video, which I haven't bothered to look because I think we already knew. I think it's kind of like a subset of what was in the first video. And another one about making a costume helmet using foam and Bondo, which I don't think is anything particularly pinball related, but
you don't wear a helmet playing pinball?
Oh, only doing this podcast. Yes. Although there are plenty of times I do feel like banging away against a brick wall.
First.
So anyway, so if you're interested, check out Chris Turner's YouTube channel, Chris Turner TV, on YouTube.
Right. Okay. So I'm scrolling back. Let's just do this in the order of that we have them on paper here, which is Haggis Pinball, Australia.
No news.
Okay. Crossing the water over there, Home Pin in Taiwan.
Some news. Yes, mainly around the manual for their upcoming This is Spinal Tap Pinball. We haven't seen a completed game yet. It's going to premiere at PinFest show in Australia
Newcastle, yes.
So until then, we don't have any full detailed information about what's in the game. But what we do have is we have a service manual for the game, which I did have a look at, and does give you quite a lot of information about the features in the game. So you can work out quite a lot of it, if not the rules. You can certainly see what the various mechanisms and devices within the game will be, and even how they work. So you can get a printed service manual, but that you can probably buy it from them as well. But it will come with included when you buy the game. But you can also download a lower res version of the HomePin website, so you can look at basically all the details of the game even before it's been announced, which is or revealed, I should say. So that's could be quite interesting, I'd say. I certainly was looking at the exploding drummer mechanism and trying to work out what it does and how it works. So there you go. If you're interested, go over to homepin.com, I think it is. And certainly if you search for HomePin Pinball, you will find their website. And you can download the manual now.
Exploding drummer?
Of course. How can you have a Spinal Tap game without an exploding drummer?
Right.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, okay. So the two games that are supposed to be available for public play at the PINfest Newcastle event, those were shipped. So hopefully they will be there in time. Not exactly news, but I figured I'd mention it anyway.
Yes. Very good.
Right.
Okay.
So, Pinball Brothers in Europe, then.
Yeah. As we know, they are making Alien at the moment, and apparently still making Alien and shipping more of them. So that's keeping them busy because although they've announced their next title, which is Queen, they haven't really done much more in the way of promoting it other than that initial reveal.
Right.
I mean, I haven't seen any gameplay videos of it, which is what everybody seems to be crying out for. It makes me suggest it's not actually ready to show yet.
The game is supposed to be shown for the first time at the Super Awesome Pinball Show event.
Tailgate party, yeah.
Yes, exactly. At the Cointaker premises. That's somewhere this month, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, yeah.
So until then, we're just eagerly waiting to see gameplay footage and
yeah, and I think the Pinball Brothers, or at least two of the Pinball Brothers, are going to be going over to that.
Yeah,
as well.
I think Roger and
certainly.
and Kato.
And Kato, yeah.
So not sure if Daniel is going there from Free Play Sweden. Who knows? He might be at Pinball Expo.
I'm sure they will be talking about it at that show as well.
Yeah. So that will probably be our first sighting with the game, because I don't think we're making it to the tailgate party at Cointaker. No,
sadly not. Although obviously some of us have seen a version of the game before.
Right.
But anyway, moving on, and you got some news from Chicago Gaming, haven't you?
Yeah, sort of. Ryan White, who is sort of their spokesperson, demonstrated the interactive shooting gallery mode that is played on the new topper of Cactus Canyon Remake, and he demonstrated that in a flipping out video stream. What it basically comes down to is you have the topper has a backdrop of buildings that sort of form a street, and some of these buildings light up. And in front of the topper, basically on the
front edge, yeah.
Front edge of the topper is an LED that's lighting up, and it's basically
it's a strip of LEDs, I think, isn't it? Which moves.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Please explain it. Your English is better than mine.
Well, it's a while since I played it, and if you've watched it more recently, so basically, yeah, as Jonathan said, it's like the shootout. It's kind of like the back glass with on the topper of a view down the street with the bad guy in the middle, and you've got on the base of the plinth on which all this sits, on the front edge of the plinth on which it all sits, there is an LED strip with which a single LED, I think, or maybe it's 2 or 3, sort of illuminates and moves left and right, and you have to steer that lit LED to the illuminated building in order to shoot out the people who are shooting at you from it. I think that's correct. Is that accurate? I'm going to say it's a long time since I played it. It's almost a year.
From what I've seen Ryan demonstrate, the LED, the lit up one, moves from left to right, and you have to shoot when it's matching with the window with the building or the window that's lit up, and then and you have to shoot the bad guys only, not the.
That's probably why I didn't get very far. I didn't know you had to shoot. I thought it would be more like the bar fight or the bar scene in Indiana Jones, Pinball Adventure. You just steer the gun and you don't actually have to physically fire the trigger, but apparently you do. So that'd be why my game finished so quickly.
Right. Okay. And apparently, Chicago Gaming have been dealing with quite some supply chain issues. Resulting in delays of Cactus Canyon games being built, but good news, it looks like limited edition and standard edition plus games, the ones with the topper, will be back into production by the end of September, and then they start shipping immediately as well.
Right, so I guess that's October then, so that's good news if you've been waiting for one of those and had an order in for some time, because it's been a while since they announced the game, and but these days you have to be patient, don't you? If you're ordering one of the top end models, it could be a year or more before you actually get it.
Yeah, no, actually, I was thinking about that. I think there isn't a manufacturer where you have where you don't have any waiting times at the moment. The only one is probably Stern, but you get an old game. So
that's true.
Yeah. So, and that was not a stab, but that's basically because they're rerunning the older games. So you place your order and it's shipped rather soon. Unlike some of the newer titles.
Yeah, everything seems to have a lead time these days. But so I think that's all the news from Chicago Gaming.
Right.
So where should we go next?
Well, let's do Multimorphic.
Okay, so they made an announcement on the 2nd of August about increased lead times of another 2 months on the complete P3 machines, which takes it from about 10 months up to around about 12. So if you haven't already ordered your P3 and were planning to buy one, this is the entire unit, then it's probably going to be, as we were just saying, about a year before you would get it.
Right,
and also
on top of that,
not only that, but there's also a price increase kicking in September for many of the game modules. Now that is it varies, but generally speaking, well, the newest one is Weird Owl's Museum of Natural Hilarity, which goes up from $3,000 to $3,500. Heist also puts on $500 to $3,250. Cosmic Kart Racing goes $400 up to $3,000 exactly. The same price for Lexi Lightspeed Escape from Earth. And the Cannon Lagoon module, which is the simplest of the of all the modules available, I think, goes up another $301 to $1,800. Now you can look in those old prices if you order before the increase kicks in, and there is obviously again generally a lead time on all these modules, although it's a lot shorter than it is for a full game. It can be a couple of months or something like that, depending on whether they have them in stock or not. I don't think they have many. But also some good news with all that.
Finally.
Yes, because there is a price decrease on 2 of their games, Rocks and Grand Slam Rally, which are now gone down from $399 to just $199. So basically halved in price immediately. So you don't have to wait for that price decrease to kick in. It's there now through the Multimorphic store. If you go to multimorphic.com and have a look.
Right. Okay. So so the old pricing was still effective, I think, during the month of August, but in September you pay the new prices. Is that correct?
That's correct. I don't know the exact date on which it goes up. It was the 1st of September, in which case it's pointless just telling you about this because it's already happened. But if you were thinking and this is going to affect you, then hop on over there if you can and have a look and see if the price has gone up yet.
Right. So, on other areas, Multimorphic has also been quite busy, as we've seen a code update, actually 2, for Wheeled Owls, Museum of Natural Hilarity. Now, usually you're the one doing the code updates and I take that, but okay, I'll do this one. So, first there was version 0.9.6.2. 0.25.7
I think you're making that up.
which came out August 1st, which is actually a rather big update, and it includes the You Make Me mini wizard mode, a new drink from the fire hose mode, improved video playback performance, scoring changes and bug fixes to the Dare to be Stupid mode. New rules for the UHF multi-ball, along with many gameplay changes and bug fixes throughout the game. And then there was the 1.0 code update on August 29th, which includes the Running with Scissors Wizard mode, which is a speedrun challenge throughout the entire museum where you have to complete various tasks in every room of the museum.
Excellent. So that's something quite complete.
Yes, and Buffalo Pinball had a live stream where they actually played the new code and managed to play the Running with Scissors Wizard mode as well. So if you want a spoiler, then check out Buffalo Pinball.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
and I think I skipped something. There's a new game development emulation software available for budding game designers supporting the latest hardware. So if you're tempted to design a game for the Multimorphic P3 platform, make sure that you have the latest version of that emulation software so you can properly emulate the game if you don't have one sitting next to you.
Yes, because as we mentioned before, the newest games have a few hardware changes compared to the older ones. So rather than the walls that pop up halfway through, halfway up the playfield, they're not solenoid driven anymore; they're motor driven. So that gives you the possibility of doing more interesting things with them. And there's also speaker panel lighting, which can be controlled as well now, which it couldn't previously. So the new development and emulation software supports those, as well as providing RGB LED simulation, so you can see exactly how it's going to look rather than guessing. So if you're a game, as Jonathan said, a budding game developer for the P3, you want to update your software.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so who's next then? Where should we go from here? Shall we? Oh, I know. Let's go and check out our good friend Andrew McVeigh and what he's been up to with Pinball Adventures.
Right. So actually, while you said that, I just looked up his Instagram. First of all,
most of the updates come. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, as he had his birthday yesterday. And apparently, he has been mentioning that he is moving to a new location or factory September 1st, but according to his latest update, he got the keys early, so he's already starting the big move today.
Oh, okay. Well, only one day early, but yes, that's good. And every time-saving measure is always to be welcomed. So congratulations on both your birthday and the new location.
Yeah, or delocation, because I'm not sure whether he had a factory, if it's a factory. It sort of looked like he was building the games in his office. So
Yeah, okay, well, new location, or new factory, a new assembly area, put it that way.
Right, so, best of luck with that, and hopefully we'll get to see them cranking out games soon.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's been in development for a long time, and
Yes.
as we know, there's another company with a number of other titles already announced in the pipeline. So
Right.
we're looking forward to see that, both the Pony Factory and Elements and the various other ones which are upcoming.
Right. Okay. Now, do you feel a little bit Spanish, Martin?
Yeah.
You feel it. You feel it too. I feel a little bit Spanish. So, do we have any news on Bittronic?
I'd like to say see, but I have to say no news.
But it seems that you played the Superhoop game recently in the UK PINcast. Isn't that true?
I did. I'm not going to attempt to talk that way for any length of time because.
Sorry. I don't want to be.
Yes. Well, I would have to clean my monitor off fairly soon after doing that. So, but yes, I got a chance to play Superhoop, and it was set up on the floor at the UK Pinfest, and an interesting game. Some nice lighting effects on it. Quite dark, I have to say, on the playfield, not the theme or the treatment of it. But there wasn't a huge amount of general illumination. But it seemed to work well. I think the flippers on it might actually have been slightly overpowered, maybe because we have a 240 volt distribution in the UK, and it's probably more used to like a 220 volt in Spain. But it did play very fast, and the ball was flying around the playfield throughout the entire weekend. The flippers never got tired, and the game was in use nearly all the time. So it was holding up very well. I don't think anything broke on it. So not there's a huge amount on the playfield, but the game seemed to play well, and it was. I found it to be one of those games where you almost get to the point you're trying to get to, but not quite. So it's you want to go back and play it one more time just to try and achieve what you didn't quite get to last time. And of course, when you try it again, you don't get there either. But it's it does drag you back for another game. So that's good news, I think.
Okay. So, and was the game brought by a distributor or by a private collector?
You know what? I don't know who brought it. I never found that out. I was trying to find, but I don't think it was by a distributor. I don't think they have one.
Right.
I think it must have been a private collector.
Okay, so now that game is originally or is designed by Antonio Orturo from Quetzal Pinball in in Spain, and interestingly, I was looking up Antonio on Instagram, and I noticed that he has a new website for Quetzal Pinball, which is qtzpb.com. And apparently it's not a secure website, so you may get a browser warning. But the website does show Superhoop and the Tokyo Perfect Drift designs.
Yes, there's a story of development pictures of it, so you can see, and there's a little bit of text describing the development of it. But it's a nicely designed website, and look, there's a video there from Pinball News. Oh, I noticed that about Captain Nemo. Anyway, that wasn't why we were mentioning it. I didn't even notice that until I scrolled down that far. But so obviously Antonio was the designer and the builder of Captain Nemo Dives Again. So which is out and about. There are quite a few of those around. And when I was at Pinfest, I was talking to your fellow Dutchman Ad Jonker, who brought two games to the show very kindly, all the way from the Netherlands, and he said he's still waiting for his Tokyo Perfect Drift game to be built, which he ordered about 2 years ago. He's very patient and not complaining about the delay, but hoping to get his game. So you can see the pictures of it on the website, qtzpb.com. And but as far as we know, there haven't actually been any made and out in the wild. I mean, the game has been made because we saw it at Pinball Expo in the past, so there is a working model, but it hasn't been produced commercially yet, as far as I'm aware. So
right,
hopefully it won't be too long. I know Antonio's been very busy doing other work, so I think Ad said that the cabinet's done but the playfield is still waiting population.
I think they were sourced out, but I'm not sure whether there was a falling out between the guy who should assemble it or what's going on. So I don't want to speculate on that. So,
Okay.
Anyway,
I think that's all our Spanish news.
You think so? And then no, there's more.
Oh no.
Yes. Do you remember New Canesta from 2010? The game that we played at EAG Expo.
I do. I still wake up screaming with cold sweats in the middle of the night about it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there was a company called Marsa Play who brought a new Canasta game to the EAG Expo in 2010. And that game was actually the very first pinball machine with an LED screen in it, also taking a picture of the player during gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the odd things with that game was they tried to make it as reliable as they could in terms of eliminating switches and so on by going with sensors and opto switches.
Yeah.
And that all worked fine, although you could use some feedback on, because if you don't see an actual switch and it still counts, it scores like you're hitting a switch.
Yeah.
You need some visual feedback, I would
It's
say.
hard to know what's registering, isn't it? You know, because
Exactly.
you can roll through a lane, but is there a switch there that does something or not?
Yeah, so despite that technological advancement, I would say, one of the curious things missing on that game was an end of stroke switch, causing actually flipper coils to burn if you hold the flipper button in too long.
Yeah, and I would say it ended up being hugely unreliable as well, the actual electronics of it. So I still remember seeing two of them side by side, and both of them were broken. I don't think either of them actually lasted very long.
Okay, so now the interesting news is, because why would we bring up this game from more than 12 years ago? I actually got an email from Marsa Play with an invite to the IAPA London show, and where they are apparently showcasing a number of virtual pinball machines. And the invitation is it looks like a flyer, and it shows at least a virtual version of New Canasta, the game that we just described, which is a rebuild of Canasta 86, very popular game in Spain.
Indeed.
It also shows a game called Brave Teams, and a game called Billiards, which has a backglass that reminds a little bit of 8-Ball Deluxe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so just to stress, this is a virtual pinball machine,
Yes.
not a physical one. So
Yes.
Hopefully, going to be more reliable.
Probably, yeah. So the company apparently is still in business, because we haven't heard from them in 12 years. But they're still around and doing a new attempt.
Yep. Okay. That's available to see at IAPA London, which I think is about the
This
middle
month?
of this month.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm away the entire duration of that show, so I won't be able to go there, despite the fact it's in London, which is a bit annoying. But there you go. I'm sure we'll see some news about it, and we'll bring you details of what happened in next month's PINcast.
Right, okay. I don't think I will be going either, although I got the invite, so... oh well, maybe if there's a cheap last-minute flight, I might actually hop in there, but...
Yeah.
oh well.
Do you fancy braving the chaos of Schiphol Airport and trying to hop over?
No, I'd probably fly from another airport.
Yeah,
so.
probably a good idea. Yeah.
So,
Okay,
anyway.
well, talking of the Netherlands, what news from Barry at Dutch Pinball?
Nothing so far. Nothing.
Oh,
Absolutely nothing.
he-
Oh,
he's
sorry.
Spanish as well.
No. Sorry, wrong mode.
Yeah, okay.
No news from Dutch Pinball. No, I tried reaching out to Barry. His phone is basically connecting me and then disconnecting me. So it could be that he's on holiday or something.
Yeah, that's the time of year. So, okay, so no update from Dutch Pinball. So, any new information from Pedretti Gaming in Italy?
Well, you tell me.
No. basically no news from Pedretti, and they are still building the Funhouse 2.0 Rudy's Nightmare.
Right. They're also building the aliens for Pinball Brothers.
Indeed, they are. Good point.
And they will be building the Queen game. So they are very busy.
Yeah, ramping up for that, one would hope. But I did run into Janos from Team Pinball when I was at UK Pinfest, and he gave me a bit of information, some of which I can't report most of it, but I can say that he is busy working on the next, as yet unannounced 2.0 release. So,
which is it? Which title is it? Tell us, Martin. Tell us.
I'm afraid I'm sworn to secrecy. You know the rules. But there is another
Have a
one
beer.
coming up fairly soon. You know my weakness. Yes. And which will have the same code from the same team who did the Funhouse. So
Okay.
So yeah,
So
well
is
experienced.
So if you say very soon, is there a timeline that
No,
we
I
can...
didn't say very soon. I said soon.
Well, okay, soon. So is there a timeline?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know what it is. And timelines slip, so it'll be inadvisable to say a particular game is going to be announced at a certain time. And as we know, and as we talked about earlier, there's a big difference between announcing a game and actually producing it and selling it. So, to a point, it's actually more important when you can actually buy it rather than when it's announced.
Right.
As we've seen with Queen.
Yeah, well, Pedretti is doing a pretty good job with shipping their stuff once they make an announcement. I mean, the Funhouse kits started shipping rather quickly, I suppose.
Yeah,
So.
they are become a significant force in pinball manufacturing, I'd say now, which is good. Good to have more companies out there able to supply.
Yeah, so, okay. So that rounds it up for Pedretti in Italy.
But
I just remember, we have more news from Spain.
I know. I can't believe you missed the opportunity.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, well, okay. Yes, well, there's quite a lot of pinball media to report on this month, and we'll start that with news about a Spanish pinball book, which is called Extra Ball, The History of Pinball in Spain. Now, it's been announced, well, it was announced just a few days ago that they were doing effectively a Kickstarter, but it's not with Kickstarter, it's with another company called Vakami, who are, I guess, more Spain-based, or at least Spanish-facing, but it works in the same way, and they were trying to raise €3,000 for to publish their book. And it is a history of pinball in Spain from the very early beginnings to today, and it's 464 pages in a sort of coffee table landscape format.
Wow!
So there's a lot of pages in there, a lot of information, and they were looking to raise, I say, 3,000, and after 2 days, they had raised 4,924. So there's a big demand out there, it seems, for this book, or certainly for the extras that come with it. Right. So you can expect to see that. But it is, as far as we can tell, it is only available initially, at least, in Spanish language, not English. But it'll have a huge number of very high quality photos in it, I'm sure. So even if you don't necessarily speak the language, you'll be able to enjoy the games from the earliest days of Spanish pinball through to the more modern ones. And who knows? It might even include the games that we've just been talking about.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, so no, it's very interesting. I'm always interested in other pinball publications as editor of Pinball Magazine. So I think I'm going to back this one as well. So I'm not sure what the book will cost, but the amount will go up a little bit.
I think there's various options available. You can get a digital copy or a physical copy, and it's not hugely expensive. I don't think it's probably. I'm trying to remember, but no more than about 25 to 30 euros.
Oh, I can easily afford that.
I'm sure you can. You must be rolling in money after.
Yeah, I am a very successful DJ, as you also might remember. So
I was going to say all the money you make from Pinball Magazine number 6. Oh, Oh, yes, sorry, that hasn't actually been published yet.
Yes, yeah, that's my retirement plan.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
So.
So anyway, more
Kickstarter companies or Kickstarter projects, I should say.
Yeah.
Skillshot Baby, a feature pinball epiphany to be produced by Emoto Harney and
James Moriarty.
Yes, exactly. We mentioned that last month. That actually reached its funding target on Kickstarter. There was a $15,000 goal, and they almost reached $16,000, being backed by 108 backers. So good news for them. They get to make their short movie, and
this is a feature, sort of a scene. Not to say it's a scene, but it's a section from a much larger project which they are hoping to produce. And so this is like to be able to show off what the production qualities, the storytelling will be like if they get to do the full thing, and whether there'll be another Kickstarter for that or whether they'll be pitching it to studios. We're not quite clear at the moment, but we look forward to seeing Skillshot Baby Pinball Epiphany when that is released.
Right, now from one movie to another, Roger Sharp, who I actually just talked to and who agreed to come on our next PINcast at the end of September, he has a movie made about basically the story. Well, it's not exactly solely the story how he saved the game, but that's sort of like the subtitle for the movie, The Man That Saved the Game.
That's more sort of backdrop to the story of the movie.
Yes. Roger expressed to me it's not a pinball movie, but pinball is a huge part of it. So if you're expecting to watch a tournament like you do at some tournaments, you can watch a screen and see gameplay. No, that's not it. So it's actually a sort of a love story.
It's a comedy drama, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So it should be appealing to a wider audience, and there's actually the company behind it is currently reaching out to film festivals, and good news, the movie is to debut at the 30th annual Hampton International Film Festival, which is scheduled to take place from the 7th to the 16th of October. Now that's quite an accomplishment, and from what I understand from Roger, more festivals have shown interest in taking the movie up in their program as well. And it's very difficult to get your movie to be selected by festivals. So kudos for them for getting so much interest in the movie already.
Yes, and if you would like to go to the 30th annual Hampton International Film Festival, general admission tickets go on sale on the 27th of this month. So you can just go to have a search for Hampton International Film Festival, and I'm sure you will find it no problem. But there's also some good news, which if you can't wait until then to find out more about the movie, there is a website. The official movie website of www.pinballfilm.com, where you can see shots from the movie, you can see the story of the people in it, the people working on it, who worked on it, the cast and crew, basically. So it's very well made. I'm looking at it right now as we speak, and you can see the beautiful quality of the photography in the movie. It really does look pin sharp and very, very well composed. So nice to see an actor playing a young Roger Sharp in that, and there's some lovely household and some courtroom scenes as well. There's a lot you can see from that. So
okay, I still have to look at it. So I will. Like I said, before we started recording this PINcast, I was actually talking to Roger. The movie is actually done, so it's complete editing is done, or at least the first version is done, and Roger is going to promote the movie as well at some of the events where the movie will be shown. He can't do them all, but he's doing quite a few, and he's had a quite a heavy hand in the script and the production of the movie, so it should be, I'd say, rather authentic.
Yeah, well, I think he's technical advisor and one of the executive producers of it as well. So yes, obviously very much involved in production, and not just sitting back and letting the storytellers tell the story, but making sure that it's kept on point.
Right. So I'm very curious to see the film, although I'm usually not one to go to movie festivals or film festivals, but they're still not sure exactly how the movie will be distributed, whether it will be available in theaters nationwide or worldwide or what have you. I suppose that still depends, or is up in the air, depending on how the game is received at various film festivals.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure it will come to a streaming platform as well before too long.
Yeah. So, but from what I understand from Roger, such a release that we're looking at next year. It's not going to be this year.
No, so. Makes sense. No, good. Okay. Well, some other news. As we mentioned earlier, I was at the UK PinFest Pinball show in Daventry this past weekend.
I wasn't, which is also quite newsworthy, I suppose, because usually I am there.
You are. You were missed, and I was asked a lot of times whether you were coming, and I had to explain that you had a DJ gig to attend to at the weekend, so couldn't unfortunately make it. Events will clash, and talking of events clashing, we're not sure whether Roger's going to be able to be at Pinball Expo this year, because he may end up be busy promoting or talking about the Pinball The Man Who Saved the Game film. So if you want to hear from Roger, probably best to tune in to next month's PINcast when we plan to be talking to him. But getting back to the show, very well received, very popular. I think we had the most people at that show that we've ever had at UK PinFest. I think on Saturday afternoon we were actually at capacity. I think the hall has a maximum number of 400 people, and I think it was just about there or thereabouts. So that was really good. And believe it or not, it didn't seem overly packed. It was, you could still get on the game, and you could still move around the hall. So that was nice to see. It was very busy, but there was so much going on. There were so many tournaments, so many events, fun and serious. So congratulations to everybody involved in running it. I'm happy to say that I only had a very small role to play this time, and that was in introducing the new inductees into the UK Pinball Hall of Fame. Right. So congratulations to them. That was Paul Brock, who runs the popular UK Pinball Info website in the UK, which is the forum and home for online collaboration of all things pinball, and the Northern Lights Pinball team, who raise a huge amount of money for charity by bringing machines to shows, support the shows, and also spread pinball to to the next generation and to people outside the pinball hobby, so to people who wouldn't normally see pinball, they get a chance to play it. So well done to them, and if you want to see more about that, there's a new website, ukpinballhalloffame.com, where you can see all the past inductees going back to 2008, as well as this year's ones, and also details of the new selection committee that's been set up. So, so that was me the weekend.
Okay, so now usually I attend the show, and usually our good friend Gary Flower is also there. Did you see Gary?
No, Gary couldn't make it this year. I don't think he's actually been to PinFest for a number of years, but he's normally busy around that time, and it's a long way from where he is up to Daventry, so it's a difficult journey to make. So so no, Gary was not there, but we missed him last month because we didn't get to speak to him. So
that's true.
Yeah, we realised right at the end that he hadn't called, and it was too late. So we're not going to make that mistake this year. Oh, this month, are we?
No, I suppose we can give him a call.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has some interesting news that we'd like to share with our listeners as well.
Yeah. Okay. So call him up. See what happens.
Okay. Calling right now.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no
You
longer
sure
in
we had the right
service.
number?
If you feel
I'm
you have reached
sure
this
I have.
recording
It
in
said,
error, please
calling
check the number
Gary
and
Slough.
try your call again.
Let me try again.
We're
No?
sorry. You have reached a
Still
number
not.
that has been disconnected
I
or is
don't
no
know.
longer in
I don't
service.
know what's up with that. So.
Okay.
Well, we tried.
We did. Yeah, we tried to. Okay. Well, we'll try and get him on next month and to bring us all up to date with what's been going on in his corner of the world. But until then, I think that's it for us for this month. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. I don't think I have anything else to add as well. So.
Okay. So that wraps it up for August 2022, and
Yes.
we hope you enjoyed this month's Pinball News PINcast. We will, of course, be back next month at the end of September and the start of October to bring all the pinball news from the previous month. And
I just remember we forgot one item.
no,
Yes,
it's not
but we're still here, so we're still
okay,
in time.
right. What was that?
So obviously, Pinball Expo is coming in October.
That's right.
Yes. And Rob Berg, the main organizer of the event, has been promoting the country tournament.
Yes,
will
a
take
new
place.
country tournament. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And he's looking for, I believe it's 2 representatives from various countries from all over the world to take place in such tournaments. Now, I'm not exactly sure which countries already have participants going there, but if you're an international pinball player and going to Pinball Expo, you might be reaching out to Rob Berg, see if you can participate in this country tournament.
Yes, it's a new event, so it's definitely worth checking it out. It might even be that you are one of the you aren't the only one of the few people from your country who are in attendance. So you may want to represent your country there in the 2022 World Cup of Pinball, which is being held there.
So,
but I'm just trying to find any more details about it as we speak. But the website seems particularly slow. So there is a registration for 2 players on the pinballexpo.com website. So it costs $50 US to register.
$50 US?
Yeah, but I'm sure there are plenty of benefits, and you get to represent your country. I mean, who can put a price on that?
Apparently, Rob Berg can.
Okay, well now we know what the price is. So,
Right. So, okay, and that does wrap it up for August. Yeah, so thank you for listening, and we hope you join us next time at the end of September. Until then, bye-bye.
Yeah, have a great month. Bye-bye.